Good day and welcome to our next session of taxes today. And we will be covering the Written Information Security Plan, otherwise known as WISP. And we have two individuals with us today. Today we have Jared Ballew, who is the Director of Government Relations of Drake Software, and he is also the President of the National Association of Computerized Tax Processors and is the Chair of ETAAC and the Co-Chair of the IRS Summit Tax Pros Working Group. Along with Jared, we have Larry Gray, who is a government liaison for NATP. He has served on the IRS Commissioners Advisory Group, ETAAC, IRPAC, and IRSAC, and recently testified before the House Ways and Means Committee. And then we also have me, and my name is Misty Erickson, and I am an tax content specialist with NATP. And today we're going to start talking about WISP and what you need to know. First off, I just want to know from Larry, and you two can go back and forth as much as you'd like. What is the Security Summit and its purpose?
Well, the Security Summit was actually, I believe, set up in 2014 by Koskinen, a commissioner of the IRS. At that point in time, I think its focus was actually on what we lack a better term, low-hanging fruit. It was the free file area. And then starting in 15, they added another group, which is the Tax Pro subgroup. And there's actually 6 different groups, and I won't name them all, but there's a Tax Pro subgroup, there's a communication subgroup, there's the authentication subgroup, there's a banking and finance subgroup, and each one of them play a different role in trying to, as outside stakeholders, make a difference in the security of the information, both externally, like a tax office, and also internally. And what I like to do is turn it over. I'm on the Tax Pro subgroup and communication subgroup, so I want to kind of turn it over to my boss, co-chair on the Tax Pro subgroup, Jared. So Jared, jump in there about our particular group.
Thank you, Larry, and thank you, Misty, for having me on. It's great to be here today. Yeah, so in the Security Summit, we do have a group that is focused on tax professionals. What do tax professionals need to do to make sure that their information and data is secure? As you know, a lot of the bad actors or cyber criminals like to target tax professionals just simply because of the type of information that you are collecting and the number of files and records that you may have within your practice. And, you know, sometimes when you start talking to some of us tech nerds and geeks, you know, we can talk all day about the fine, gritty details of security, cybersecurity, and protections. But, you know, in the security subgroup for tax professionals, it's where we really try and bring in our expertise and our experiences from the actual field, from the offices. And we can kind of pair that knowledge of how actual taxes are prepared and that the workflows happen in an office, and kind of pair that in with the other side of the other groups that are building the standards and the technology. And together we can bring a more holistic approach to safeguarding data in the tax environment. And that's really what the Tax Pro subgroup is about, is making sure that when we make suggestions and recommendations, when we make changes to security, that it is vetted through an actual real life tax professional and groups and associations. The subgroup itself is made up of tax software developers. It's made up of IRS individuals, state tax administrators, and it's made up of many individuals and tax professional associations, much like NATP and various others. So it's a really broad group. There's a lot of diversity and opinions coming into how tax administration is done, and more importantly, how security and tax administration is handled. So that's kind of an overview of what the Tax Pro subgroup does in the Security Summit.
Great, thank you. And just since this has been in the news for a while, and I think one of the big things that came out, and I know a lot of NATP members are excited about this, what is an effective WISP? Like, what should preparers look for? Because this is a requirement for them if they're going to have a PTIN. So just kind of explain what they should be doing when they're setting one up, or what tools are out there.